Yo, what's up, my dude? How's it going? Everything good? Man, get comfy in that chair, cause today's gonna be wild. We're talking about Jinwoo, our main man, who's barely started the day and is already late as hell. Sounds like me and you on a Monday, waking up dead tired, not wanting to do anything. The dude was just chilling, catching some extra sleep when his sister calls and tells him he forgot about the meeting at her school. He quickly realizes he messed up, wakes up, and rushes out of there. When he gets to the school, his sister notices right away that he's looking all different. And it's not just her. Her friends are eyeing him too, man. Dude stepped out looking fresh, looking fine, fam. The girls are already on him. His sister, not wasting any time, asks if he wants her to hook him up with one of her friends. And even though Jinwoo's as single and lonely as a crumpled up dollar bill hiding in the back of his wallet, he says, no, that they're there for a purpose, man. Got priorities, right, my dude? Plus, if you go for a 10, you'll be seeing the sunrise in a whole different way, bro. Jinwoo's in the meeting with the teacher and starts talking. She straight up tells him he has a good shot at getting into med school, cause man, she's killing it in the studies. But the drama kicks in when she asks if he'd let her become a hunter if she awakened her powers. And Jinwoo comes out swinging, man. He says straight up, that's not gonna happen. No way. If she awakens powers, he's not letting her become a hunter. Not here, and not anywhere in the world. Then the teacher asks him for a favor, leaving a little mystery in the air. We cut to Jinwoo, standing outside the school, waiting for a girl who's walking out wearing a hoodie. He tells her he's the brother of her best friend, and pulls out his phone to show a picture of the two of them together. But she already knows what's up, and tells him straight out that she's not going back to school. She wants to live the hunter life. Jinwoo, always the sensible one, hits her with the real talk. You're a rank E hunter. You got nothing to fall back on. You won't even be able to pay your rent. And the worst part is, he knows that for sure. The girl quickly snaps back, asking what he's talking about. He's rank E too. Haha. Doesn't know what she's talking about, poor kid. And he clears it up by saying he's not telling her to quit. He just wants to make sure she doesn't get herself wrecked, you feel me? He's just doing his part, man. Cause a friend who warns you is a friend for life. Meanwhile, at the airport, Jin Chul's picking up Dongsu, who walks in all cocky. He quickly realizes that the association's here to keep tabs on him and tries to play it cool, asking how long he's staying in Korea. But that doesn't fool anyone, man. It's clear that all he's here for is to get revenge for his brother's death, no doubt. And the association's surveillance team is already keeping an eye on him. They know he came in with a vendetta to take out the protagonist and Eugene. We cut to Choi, the association president, and him discussing the monsters on Jeju Island, which are evolving in some bizarre ways. The ants are starting to grow wings and are trying to cross the sea to reach the mainland. But luckily, they can't get too far yet. Choi's worried because if these creatures keep evolving like this, it's gonna be bad news for everyone. We jump back to Jinwoo, who's chilling near the portal with other hunters. He meets up with Sang, who quickly notices that Jinwoo brought someone else along. Things get interesting when we find out that the protagonist asked him to join this raid, and the timing couldn't be better because a rank C portal just opened up right there. Then, out of nowhere, a dude walks up, acting all tough. Jinwoo has no idea who this guy is, but Sang clears it up, saying he's an A-class hunter and will be the tank for the group. Cool, but the guy rolls up with so much arrogance, putting down Jinwoo and the girl he brought along. Man, he not even knows who he's talking to. If our protagonist wanted to, he could put this guy on the another plan for good. Sang explains that the team has 10 hunters, and half of them are rank B. One of the assistants warns the protagonist to let the veterans take care of the heavy lifting since most of the team is still rookie level. So they go into the portal, and suddenly, things get weird. Out of nowhere, the portal changes to red, and everyone starts freaking out. The protagonist quickly realizes this isn't a normal situation, and they're seriously screwed. He tries to leave and tells Sang to call for reinforcements, but it's too late. Before he knows it, he gets sucked back into the portal. Beck, who'd been keeping an eye on the mission, is shocked by what happened and decides to investigate. Meanwhile, inside the portal, the whole team's lost. Shu, that annoying and arrogant tank, is the first to notice they're in a red portal and starts yelling at everyone. Jinwoo explains that they've lost all contact with the outside world, and their only way out is to either defeat the boss or wait for the portal to collapse and open up. To make things worse, one day inside the portal equals 1 hour in the real world. If they get stuck, they could end up spending months in there. And then, out of nowhere, a surprise attack happens. An arrow pierces the chest of a rank C hunter, and panic sets in. Sun Li, who came with Jinwoo, almost bites it, but he saves her in the nick of time. The tank quickly figures out that they're being attacked by ice elves from up above. The protagonist realizes that the elves are targeting the weaker ones first. these elves aren't just dumb monsters, man. They're sharpshooters with plans and strategies, which makes things even more complicated. And in the chaos, the tank wants to play leader and takes charge. He says that only those who are at least rank B can stay in his group. And the rest? Oh, the rest? Good luck surviving, buddy. But then, one of the rank B members decides to bet on Jinwoo. She noticed that when they were ambushed, he was the only one who had the reflexes to catch that arrow. She knows deep down, this guy is the real deal. That's when the group split. The tank goes with his team down the main road, heading for the dungeon boss, while Jinwoo takes his group into the forest. The tank thinks Jinwoo is going to get wiped out because he saw claw marks on the trees when he was following the main path, and knows there are ice bears around. And it didn't take long for one of those bears to show up. The tank's group fights them off, while Jinwoo realizes that staying in the forest might be the best move he could make. He pulls out jackets from his inventory and hands them out, leaving everyone speechless, not understanding how he's got that stuff. Sunwoo gets suspicious and asks who he really is, but our protagonist shuts it down quickly, telling everyone to focus on the mission, and that no one's allowed to ask him anything, because the more he talks, the more trouble he's going to get into. Jinwoo then summons his shadow army and invades the bear's den, starting a full-blown massacre. The mages revive the fallen knights, but they drain his mana. In the middle of the battle, his mana starts dropping fast. Out of nowhere, a giant bear shows up and causes huge problems. Jinwoo realizes he's running low on mana. That's when he decides to send Igris into the fight. The beast tries to crush him, but Igris lands a powerful blow and decapitates the bear in one shot. Jinwoo is impressed because he realizes that his shadow minion is way stronger than he ever imagined. After all that chaos, he strengthens his army by adding all the bears to his command, especially the boss that Igris killed. Meanwhile, Shu, the tank, and his team are fighting the ice elves. His plan to be the mastermind fails miserably, and his allies start dropping one by one. The guy who was so confident realizes he's got no chance against these elves and starts panicking. He sees one of them grinning wickedly, and feeling the despair, bolts out of there, abandoning everyone behind. The guy's a born leader, all right? Born to run. That's when the ice elf boss watches everything from afar and gives a sinister grin, seeing the guy running away with his tail between his legs. Outside, Sang is on edge, as it's been 3 hours since the hunters went into the portal. Dong-soo, who's there now, the overly positive guy, thinks Jinwoo's probably a goner and is ready to head out. But that's when the doubt hits. What the hell is our protagonist doing in there? He's not even part of this guild. Innocent Sang explains that Jinwoo is his friend, and he let him join the team. But Dong-soo doesn't buy that answer one bit. He immediately switches to aggressive mode, lifting the guy by his neck and demanding to know exactly what he's up to. This guy's a psychopath. Beck, who's there too, isn't having any of it and tells Dong-soo to let Sang go. But the tough guy responds that he doesn't take orders from anyone, and the result? Obvious. They both start releasing their auras, creating a shockwave that nearly destroys everything around them. They're getting ready to throw down, but then the association's ranked member shows up to calm things down, before someone turns into BBQ or ends up dead. Jinchul quickly states that his brother was killed by monsters, not by 2 hunters. But obviously, Dong-soo doesn't buy it. For him, Yujin is the one who took out his brother. Jinchul starts to realize that Dong-soo was just looking for an excuse to cause a massacre. But then, out of nowhere, he gets a mysterious message and has to leave. What could have come through that was so urgent that it made him abandon his bloodlust and just bounce? Back at the portal, the tank's walking through the forest, looking like he's seen something off. He comes across a bunch of defeated ice bears and wonders if Jinwoo's group did all this. But since they're not that strong, he figures it was more likely the elves. That's when things start to get complicated because he sees Jinwoo's group just chilling, relaxing, and he loses it. How are these weaklings just chilling while the rest of my team got wiped out? The guy, with blood in his eyes, accuses Jinwoo and his team of hiding food and supplies, claiming that's what caused the death of everyone. He's already furious, accusing them all of betrayal. But our protagonist, with zero patience for this guy's tantrum, just slams his head into the ground and lets him have it. The death of his team is all on him, this idiot. And at this point, Jinwoo has figured out the elves were following him, so he calls the enemies out to play. Suddenly they drop their camouflage and appear right out in the open. Their leader immediately starts talking trash, saying all these humans are garbage. Jinwoo, not one to take any disrespect, asks if he's talking about them. But how can be actually understanding the elves' language? Which can only mean one thing, it's the system at play. Baruka then sends one of his soldiers to fight Jinwoo. But before any fight even starts, Jinwoo simply decapitates the elf in one shot, leaving the elf leader stunned. Jinwoo charges, but the elf easily blocks his attack. The elf then says something mysterious. "Why do you walk with humans if you're not like them?" He explains that elves always hear voices in their heads when humans are around. But with Jinwoo, nothing happens. The elf keeps talking, acting all high and mighty, saying that if Jinwoo surrenders, he'll spare his life. But our protagonist isn't stupid. He rejects that offer right away. Baruka realizes that Jinwoo's looking for a fight, so he points out the elves' numerical advantage. But Jinwoo's got an ace up his sleeve. He summons his shadow army. His team is almost having a heart attack when they see the number of soldiers Jinwoo controls. The battle kicks off, and the elves attack full force. Jinwoo's team takes the chance to make a run for it, but the archers are already ready to turn them into pincushions from afar. Jinwoo, quick as ever, goes straight for the elves and knocks them out as fast as he can. But he realizes his mana is draining because his soldiers are having trouble with the elves. Baruka steps in and proves he's not messing around. Jinwoo quickly realizes that even Igris wouldn't be enough to handle this guy. They start exchanging heavy blows, and Baruka lands a brutal kick that sends Jinwoo flying. The elves enjoying the fight, crushing the protagonist. But then, out of nowhere, Jinwoo's mages fire a fire meteor at Baruka. Shu, seeing the explosion, decides to go full-on crazy, and charges at Jinwoo with blood in his eyes. But suddenly Baruka charges at him at the same time. Before either of them can make a move, Igris appears out of the smoke and stabs Shu through the chest with his sword. Jinwoo, always one step ahead, knew this guy was going to try something. And the best part, Jinwoo simply turns Shu into one of his shadows, naming him Iron. He comes in berserk mode, letting out a scream that makes Baruka realize the fun's over. The two start fighting, but the elf is still faster and stronger. And the rest of the fight's just a bunch of bystanders who have no clue what's going on. The battle's on a whole different level now. Baruka realizes Iron's not enough, so he tells Jinwoo and Igris to join the fight. The problem? The elf still keeps up with everyone. Damn, this boss is seriously overpowered, right? That's when Iron uses his taunt again. Baruka counters with a devastating strike, but Jinwoo hits him from behind. Still, the elf manages to dodge and avoid a fatal blow. Baruka charges at him in rage, and Jinwoo throws a knife at him, but actually, he misses. And the elf, not wasting any time, starts mocking him when Jinwoo simply uses the ruler's hand to pull the knife back, going straight for the elf's final blow. With an insane reflex, Baruka manages to block it, but his knife breaks in the process. That's when Iron appears behind him and holds him down tightly. The mages cast another firestorm, causing a huge explosion on him. But somehow Baruka still comes out alive after all that. He threatens to end everything, but then Jinwoo arrives with a final strike. The elf refuses to believe he's lost, and that's when Iron steps in and finishes him off with a crushing blow. At that moment, as Iron is about to crush Baruka, Jinwoo simply activates his invisibility to farm aura. He didn't even need to do that. It was only for aura farming. While Iron's relentlessly smashing Baruka into the ground, our protagonist realizes that he's leveled up once again. That's when he notices Iron is just out there, wrecking the elf non-stop. He tells his new minion to calm down a bit, and the group finally relaxes as they win the battle. Outside, Sang informs them that a week has passed inside the portal. Meanwhile, Beck is worried, but there's nothing to do but wait. Suddenly, the portal returns to normal, and he thinks Shu saved everyone. But when the hunters come out, the surprise is that only Jinwoo's group survived. The portal disappears, and Bayek is left confused as to why the weakest hunters from the party made it out alive while the others didn't. He pressures Jinwoo, demanding to know what happened, but Jinwoo's so done with all this that he simply says he saved 2 guild members. Jinwoo then asks Bayek if isn't supposed to be thanking him. After that, Jinwoo takes Song Yi home. She thanks him for everything he did and for saving her. On the way, he notices Baruka's knife and realizes he couldn't turn the guy into a shadow. This most likely happened because the elf was stronger than him, and he couldn't control his shadow. That's why he was so done with the portal. The next day, Yujin shows up saying they need to leave. Jinwoo agrees but mentions they need to pick someone up first. They stop by Song Yi's house, and she gets into the van. The protagonist asks if she slept well, since she got home really late, and Jinwoo starts getting a bit freaked out. The first thing he thinks is that the two of them spent the night together, and he reminds the protagonist that she's underage. But Jinwoo, with no patience and still not understanding what's going on, says, "Dude, what does it matter that she's underage? It's got nothing to do with it." He just doesn't get what's happening. And then Yujin, man, is in shock, but he just brushes it off and moves on to the next mission. Damn, my dude. What an episode, huh? If you liked it, you know what to do. Comment, hit that like button, and subscribe to show some love. And don't forget to check out this next video I'm leaving for you, because it's insane. The drama's just getting started, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.